This is my typical soldering gun for the work I'm doing here with the amount of soldering that I'm having to do, and I'm out of tips for it. I have made my own because after you use these a whole bunch, they essentially break. Now, I wish I had a thicker gauge, but I'm just using your regular rigmarole gauge wire that you would have inside your house and forming my own soldering iron tips. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. Moving on. And this is where I'm at now. The only thing left to do is the general illumination. General illumination along with a couple of controlled lamps, but this is essentially this strand right here for lighting. But all the switches and flash bulbs and solenoids are wired up. Oh man. A lot of work. A lot of tedious work. This is all kind of temporary right here. I've got some bigger rings coming in so I can actually have everything in the correct spot. So begins my general illumination journey. I almost wish I would have done this one first, actually. I had decided to dig out all of the boards for the controlled lamps, get them all cleaned up, gave them a bath. They're all back onto the machine. This playfield's starting to look pretty populated now. All right, back to soldering. Here I am now with a nail gun. Not nail gun, staple gun. And I'm stapling the leads from the pop bumper, the GI bulbs, onto the playfield. Got them bent over right here so you can kind of see what I've got going on, maybe. So now they're all stapled down to the playfield. Now I'm just going to solder on the corresponding GI lines to these pop bumpers. Yay! So just to give you an idea of that's the size of staples, and as far as how deep they are, let's see if I can shoot one out. That is the size of the staples that I'm using. Those are probably about maybe a 1/4 inch deep. Just eyeballing it right there. Still working on the GI. So I've learned something, and that is next time I'm doing a full, complete teardown, rebuild backside of a playfield like this, and it's not necessarily the fact that it's a full teardown, but if I'm having to do soldering and everything like that, I'm going to make sure I do the GI line first, and then I'll do solenoid switches and flashers, because now I've got my GI essentially in place, but I've got a lot of soldering to do, and a lot of stuff is in the obstructing my view to get to it. So this is gonna suck. I did it. I have wired the entire back of this playfield. It is done. Here we have GI, switch, solenoids. Everything is soldered on. Now I still need to go through and do some organization when it comes to the wiring and stuff like that, but at least everything is on the playfield and wired. I think it's about time I get my hairs cut. Haircut accomplished. Now that I've got all of the wiring done, I want to confirm that all the wiring is going to be correct. I'm going to be doing a continuity check using my multimeter. I'll basically start from the top and work my way through. I'll attach this bad boy onto a particular lead. If I can do it with one hand, it's going to be tricky. But basically, I'll show you when I get it all hooked up. Now that I've got it on a lead, I should be able to go through every GI bulb. And a beep means it's got continuity from my initial GI line. So I can make sure that anything that has got brown has got continuity to where it needs to go. Got kind of worried on that one. All right, but it looks like, at least on this side of the playfield, I shouldn't have any continuity right here. That's a different strand, but this one I should. Yep. So I've gone through almost. All right. The entire right side of the playfield has continuity where it's supposed to. And then I'll check the other side of the playfield, and I'll check the other strand accordingly as well to make sure that I don't have continuity where I'm not supposed to. I do not want to short. So that's just verification purposes on my part. And that's what I'm going to do now. Wiring has been completed. Everything checks out, tests out. Wires are organized. I still got to get some bigger wire clamps right here, but I can do that down the road. As of right now, everything's currently in place the way it's supposed to be. Underside should be completed. So now I should be able to start working on topside again. Got some of the things already on here, but now I can really start building it up. Alright, now it's time to be mounting my wood rails and my back plate right here. Got these all painted, polished, ready to be mounted, but I'm going to be enlarging my pilot holes. Now these holes match up identically to the previous old side rails. All I need to do now is just drill them out to be a little bit girthier, so that way there's less likely for an event of the wood to split whenever I'm actually putting the real size screws in there. Now if I was to put this in here, it would go in, but it's a pretty girthy screw for such a small little hole. So I'm just going to go through my little bits here and find the appropriate size, and then we'll get these things drilled out and mounted to the playfield. And here we are now. Got the nice and shiny new side rails on. I mean, so shiny that you can actually see a reflection off of this. And we are getting things put back together topside now. While I'm waiting for parts to come in for working on the playfield, I figured, you know, it's been a couple of years, I might want to pull out the cabinet just to see if there's anything else that needs to be done to this bad baby. So that's what we're going to do now.